Hello, friends. If you are watching this YouTube video because you missed the live training event that we had on Monday night, thank you for watching. Please click on the link in the description after you finish watching this training video. There's a quick submission form. This is just so I can make sure that every organization has had a leader that has watched this training. So thank you so much. Hope you enjoy the event. Well, hello and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming to this exciting event. This is an event for all organization leaders, so clubs, publications, councils, and agencies. So thank you so much for coming. I had a great chance to meet a lot of you last week at Scotty Fair. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Thomas. I'm happy to serve you this year as the Vice President of Club Development. I'd like to start just by opening us up in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for your work on this campus. During these challenging times, all of us need your guidance. All of us need to be looking up to you. As student leaders, we rely on you for everything that we do. So Lord, we just pray that you be guiding us and teach us to really do everything for you. I pray tonight for our speakers tonight, Lord, speak through them. And I pray for all of us as a campus community that we stay healthy and vigilant during these times. Pray these things in your holy name. Amen. Well, we do have quite a bit of ground to cover tonight. We'll be covering a wide range of issues. We have everything really from planning events to managing finances, how to promote your club, COVID event policies, and that will make up the first portion of tonight's event. And then the second half will be some GCSA stuff that we will cover at the end. So really happy to have all of you here. I'm really thankful for our guest speakers tonight. Before I turn it off to Austin, I'd love to just introduce you all to Jacqueline Broberg. She's our Director of Student Activities and GCSA's advisor. So Jacqueline, if you have anything you'd like to say, I'd like to turn it off to you for a second.
Thanks, Thomas. It's good to see everybody. Funny that we have to do this on Zoom, but such is always the world. So thank you all for serving as leaders of your club. If you haven't muted already, that would be great, just so we don't get distracted like I just did. So I am the GCSA advisor. I also advise CEC and the mascot, and I oversee the director of orientation. So I've got my fingers in a lot of places, but I've been at Gordon since 2010 when I was a student. And so I've also figured out a lot of the ways Gordon works and who to talk to, and have gotten to influence Gordon as a space and a place that I love. So I'm here for you as a resource. Working with students is one of my favorite things, and helping to plan events and student government. So my role as the advisor is really to advocate for you as the students, to the administration, and to advocate for the administration to you as the students, and kind of be a liaison there. So in some ways, a more macro version of what GCSA does, a little bit different. So yes, I'm excited to see all of you, and I'm here to help you at any point of the year.
Well, excellent. Thank you, Jacqueline. Screen sharing should be enabled, so hopefully I can just turn off to Austin, and you can share your screen if you have a presentation. So off to you, Austin. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much, Thomas. Thank you, Jacqueline. Hello to everyone. I'm the Director of Business Development and Scheduling at Gordon. I started off in Chase Hall as an RD for 4 years, and then I've been doing this gig for the last 2.5 years. I run 25 Live, which we're going to talk about, as well as purchasing and commencement and the Shields House and some other random things. But it's a pleasure to be with you all. I talk kind of fast, and I'm going to pause at the end if you have any questions for me. But let's just jump right in to good old 25 Live. All right, you should all be able to see my business development and scheduling screen. Can I get a thumbs up from Thomas if that's happening? Awesome. Awesome. So 25 Live is where you need to schedule your events. It's like one of the first things you do in the event planning process. Just want to show you my website really quick. If you just Google 25 Live in Gordon, you can come here. You can come over to the 25 Live scheduling piece. It gives you some just quick breakdown, a lot of FAQs that I get with 25 Live, starting with logging in. You don't need to put @gordon.edu when you log into 25 Live, which I know is very confusing. And if you ever need help at any point, please just email me at my email or at scheduling@gordon.edu, and I can help you out, or give me a call, stop by. You can get to 25 Live by clicking on this link, and then I'll also show you, you can go over to the Go site, which I know I feel like students are using less and less because of Gordon 360, but if you go to the Go site, there's this big picture here and you can't miss it, and it links right to 25 Live as well. And this is what 25 Live looks like. Hopefully some of you have seen this before. I actually broke into Thomas's account, so I'm currently masquerading him, so I know that this is what students see when they come into 25 Live. This is 25 Live, the really simple version we call just scheduling. And this is where you create an event. You can look up available locations or search for events that are already in place. So I'm just gonna walk you through looking for an available location. So here you can just type in pretty much anything that's logical. We'll pull a keyword to the room you're trying to find on campus or to the new quad stage. You just click search, and then you can check out, you can change the date to see if it's available, and over here you can see it's unavailable for some reason on September 14th from 5 to 6. And I wanna know why and see if I can still schedule it that night. You can click here and you can see the breakdown of what's happening on this location, and you can scroll down for the dates, or you can just change the date up here. So I'm just gonna go straight to September 14th, and it pops up. Soccer practice until 5:30 it looks like. So I can't have the quad at, until after 5:30, I can jump on the quad. Or is this 6 o'clock? I can't even tell. I bet you that's 6 o'clock. So this is a quick way to see, hey, I'm trying to schedule something. I don't know why it's going through. Go and check the location, the view, to see what else is going on there in case it's already booked. And you can kind of click around here when you're in a location. This is how I know I'm still in the location. And actually, let's look at a different one. What is another popular location? McDonald Auditorium in Ken Olson. It used to be COSC 104, but in 25 Live, it is no longer COSC 104 because the administration asked me to change the name of it. So you have to type in McDonald Auditorium or COSC, McCod, one of these things to get to the actual location. And if you open this up, you can see that the current capacity is actually 54. So it's normally 400, but right now with COVID, all of the locations on campus have pandemic capacities that are smaller. So instead of 400, it's 54. So this is a quick way you can check current capacities at different locations, and we also throw in a picture for all the different locations. So this to me is a super useful, and this is everything going on in this location throughout the week. All right, so I just keep clicking back to the home tab here just to show you this, but we can go to create an event, which is here or here, and let's make a fake event. All right, so the event wizard here, which just got mad at me. What is it doing? What's it saying? Date restrictions? I don't care about any of that. Let's start over. Well, that's not good, friends. Technical difficulties, one moment. I do not want to save this. Let's try this one. I literally just was pretending to do this. So I know it works because I just was doing it. The event wizard, please work, or we're gonna have to do it in pro. Last try before I forfeit. There we go, yes. All right, so this is the event wizard where you need to submit your event in 25 Live. It's pretty dummy proof, but then at the same time, it's totally not. But more or less, you just need to follow the instructions as you go through. But I'll just remind you all, students have a 14-day restriction, so they cannot submit an event within 14 days of the date you want the event to take place. The reason we do that is because CTS, physical plant, and catering all have a 14-day request limit as well, where you have to get your requests in at least 2 weeks in advance in order to request their services. So we've lined that up with 25 Live as well. And then you can only, submit things for this semester. All right, so let's just do a guest speaker. It's just a generic event. If you want it published to the public calendar because you have a guest speaker coming, you just want to make sure that whatever you type here is without error, because it goes on all the public calendars. If you've used 25 Live before, you'll see that we've significantly reduced the number of event types that we're offering. There used to be 25 different event types, and they were totally useless. So I got rid of all of them, and we're down to 3. So basically, if you have an event, you want people who are outside of your organization to come, choose event. If you're having like a reoccurring club meeting or whatever it may be, and you just want people from within your organization to come, just choose meeting. And if you just want to do a calendar announcement, like it's Earth Day or whatever it may be, so it's not a specific thing at a place, but it's something happening, you can choose this calendar announcement. So we're going to choose an event. I am just going to use the Democrat Club as an example. All of your organizations should be in here for you to select. And if you click star, it will save so you don't have to search for it every time. If your organization is not in there, please let me know. And if you're doing it with more than one organization, you can put more than one. Whenever you're publishing an event, please type something here that you want to go to the public calendar. It needs a description or they won't approve it for the calendar. So please just type something simple, concise, follow these instructions. All right, so we already picked the date. I don't know if the quad's available at 6 or 6:30, but we'll just choose it's from 7 to 8. Begins and ends in the same day, which is great. If you have a physical plant setting up stuff for you or catering, you need to add additional time on the front end. So just check this box. Add an hour is a good safe bet. And if you require tear down time after the event, also do that here. Real simple, but make sure you do that, it's important. So then people don't schedule right up against your event. If your event repeats, like if it's a weekly meeting, you can choose this and do like a weekly repeat or an ad hoc repeat and just select the dates you want. So that's a nice feature. Please always put in the number of people you're expecting as an important thing, because we have, like I mentioned, every location has sort of a limited number of like the new capacity. So please put the number that you're expecting. And then you have to go here and add the location. I'm just gonna type stage and see what that gives me. Tupper stage, quad stage. Oh, it's unavailable because I did the prep time of an hour and there's still practice going. So notice here that's unavailable. I'm not gonna fix it for now, but this is just quickly how you would request a location to be added to your event. This is huge, students forget this a lot. You are the scheduler and you need to put a faculty or staff advisor as your requester. So we're the advisor for the Democrat Club. You just click in here and search their name and add them to that event. You have to add someone. I will note that this has been broken for the last week or two. And so people have not been able to add someone. It gets stuck here. If that's the case, you can just submit it like this and just shoot me an email saying, hey, it wouldn't let me add it. But I've put in a complaint and we should have it fixed here pretty quick. Requirements, pretty self-explanatory. If you need catering or CTS or whatever it may be, you need to go to their website and follow their process. So for example, if you want physical plant to bring tables to your event, do not write, I need 6 tables in this box. You can definitely check the box here. That's really helpful, but don't write the request here. You need to go to the work request system for physical plant and tell them in that fashion. I really wish I could delete these comment boxes. Believe me, I've tried. And then you can save this as a draft if you need to still work on it. But when you want to submit it for my approval, you click as tentative and click save, and then that submits it. And that is all you need to do to request a space on campus. Yeah, that should cover the most of what I want to tell you, but I'll just show you really quickly. If you see here, it says go to 25 Live Pro. Every once in a while when people are having trouble, I tell them to go to Pro. Pro is basically just the jazzed up version of 25 Live that can do a bit more. It has a bit more functionality. We don't direct faculty and staff here, but if you guys are using it a lot, it just has a little bit more flexibility and more features of availability and different things, which people can sometimes find really, really helpful. We've moved to having Jacqueline approve every single event that student organization submits. Jacqueline actually approves and is looking for different COVID things, like requiring a description, and we're looking for different new guidelines that are being followed by all groups on campus because of the times we're in. And then please, please, please wait until you get a confirmation email from me before you start advertising your event. I can't tell you how many people have like, I already told, we hung up posters in all the residence hall, we really need this space. And I'm like, it's not available. You can't do that. So please wait until you have approval from me. If you ever need to cancel or change a location or date or time, you have to email me. You cannot edit events once you submit them. So just shoot me an email at scheduling, stop by my office in Frost, second floor, or give me a call, all of the above. And then I'm known to look up student cell phone numbers and just call them, cold call them. Hey, this doesn't make sense, or this is broken in your request. So just give me a call back and I will be able to help you out as soon as I'm able. I will stop for just a second, for 2 minutes, 1 minute, if anyone has any quick questions for me, because I'm gonna leave the meeting. I can't stay till the end. Any quick questions for me?
Yeah, so if, like, say for Gordon Outdoors, if we're meeting like in the woods to go hiking, do we need to use 25 Live?
Yeah, so the track around the pond is actually in 25 Live because it's sometimes reserved by the cross country team and others, or sometimes there's meets on campus. If it's beyond that trail, you do not need to do it. But if you wanted to advertise it to get other people to come, you could put it as the calendar announcement.
Thank you.
Yeah. Great, friends. Thanks for having me. I hope
Thanks,
the
Austin.
rest goes well. Yeah, take care.
Thank you.
Does that mean you're passing the baton?
Yes, next off we are to Susan Gross from Physical Plant.
That is me. All right.
All right, I will.
Okay. So first of all, thank you for inviting me here tonight. It's really important that we get this opportunity to talk to you about what the resources are that are available for GCSA, because there's a lot. My name is Susan Gross, and as you've been told, I'm here representing Physical Plant. My colleagues at Physical Plant really, really want to help you have good events on campus. And one of the best ways that you can help us do that is by making sure that we have enough time to plan ahead, thus the 2-week request. You're going to hear that over and over again. I'm sure I'm not the only department that's going to say it, but we really do need that time to plan ahead. Early notice is even more critical this year because of all the COVID protocols that are in place. It just taxes our department a lot. So there isn't as much wiggle room as maybe we've had in the past. But any one of you can call Physical Plant to put in a work request as long as you're giving us that 2 weeks notice. Just make sure that you have your event approved through 25 Live. And then you can call our front desk and submit a request on the phone. It's really much easier than going through the system. And we can make sure that we have all the information that we need. If your event is less than 2 weeks away, then you can't call Physical Plant to set up that. You're gonna have a faculty or staff member put that in. It's something that we've put in place so that someone knows that we're not getting those on time. And whoever you get, it's best to start with a faculty advisor or a staff advisor. And they'll need to provide your contact information as well as their own to help us. So when you call to submit a request, there's going to be certain things that you need. You'll be asked for your name and your phone number. We're going to take that from you, but then all physical plant requests are submitted under one staff person's name. Last year, it was Jacqueline Broberg. She may elect some different person this year because she's wearing lots of hats, but it's going to be one staff person. So you can decide amongst yourselves and with Jacqueline to choose who that is, and then we'll start going forward putting those in. We're also going to ask you for an account number. It's kind of, I'm sure as Nancy Cardona gets into talk, she'll be talking about account numbers. It's important that you know the account number of your club. Honestly, physical plant doesn't charge for many things. In the past, we've charged for events in the chairman's room. That was a $75 usage fee, but since it's a dining room this year, I don't really think that's going to be a problem. It may be later in the year, but not now. So when you're submitting an event, we're going to need all the particulars. We're going to need to know the who, by which you're just going to need to tell me what group is hosting an event. It's important that we get that into the work request. We're going to need to know the what. You'll need to give us the title of the event and describe for us what you're requesting. Austin touched on it. You can't just say, I need tables and chairs for an event. We need to know how many tables, how many chairs. And it's important that you know that we have a limited supply of tables and chairs. So, you know, there's lots of groups on campus. So it's important that you respect that. We're also going to need to know where your event is, the building, area, and location. When, you know, the start times and end times, as well as what time you need the setup to be complete, because there's other departments on campus, like I can think of dining services or CTS, that are going to also need to set up. So it's important to know when we have to be ready. So basically, what can you ask for? You can ask for tables and chairs. You can ask for electric cords. I know that there are lots of outside events right now. We do have, maybe, I wasn't able to confirm this today, I wanted to, but some construction type lighting. It's like 10 feet tall and has lights. So if you have an evening event outside, you may be able to ask for that. By the time anyone asks for it, I will know for sure whether we have it or not. And I'm sure later in this meeting, CTS will tell you what they do. Yeah, but their requests are separate from physical plants. There are some limitations for what you can request. And one I confirmed today, there are 2 tents on campus that have tables and chairs in them. You can move those tables and chairs, you can do whatever you need to as long as they go back to that setup, but we cannot add tables and chairs to the tents, and we will not take away tables and chairs for events. Like I said, you can do that, but that's not something that we are going to do at Physical Plant. Dining services may ask for tables for an event, and if that happens, our moving and setup team will confer with them to figure out exactly what's needed. And so that's a little bit different, but you can't just ask for extra tables in there. You can request tables and chairs for other outside locations as long as you're giving us 2 weeks notice. And we'll bring the tables and chairs to that location, but you're going to need to set them up, especially if it's an evening or a weekend event. It's important for you to know, though, we only have about 4 or 5 tables that we allow for outside events. That's not a lot of tables. So get your request in early. And we will ask that you clean off those tables and chairs before you put them away inside for overnight. In addition to work requests, physical plant is also responsible for the fleet of vehicles that we have in a rental fleet. The fleet is grounded for now, but we hope that that won't always be the case. And so when that happens and things are released, we typically rent 12 and 15 passenger vans and 15 passenger buses, both of which require an approved van driver. When the fleet is released back into service, Gordon Police will likely send out an email about van testing, and that would be the time to reach out to them about becoming an approved driver. There are some basic rules about van reservations. Number one, vans can only be driven by an approved driver. Destinations that are more than 4 hours away require 2 drivers. Vans that leave Massachusetts or that are going to be gone overnight require a faculty or staff advisor to go on the trip as well. And though it doesn't happen very often, if your group wanted to go to Canada and the country would let us in, you would need special permission from the finance department to take the van out, because we actually have to get special insurance to do that. And van requests can really be submitted by any of your groups. You're going to have to designate a GCSA person to be the designated van requester. It can be anyone. Thomas, I don't know, you can figure out who you want that to be. But once you decide who that is, they should contact me and I'll work on setting them up on the fleet, because just because someone is an approved van driver does not add them to be able to rent vehicles. You have to be on this special system, and we only let a handful of people do that. In the meantime, Darlene Hubbard in Student Life can submit requests, but we're not there yet. The costs of renting a vehicle, it's 85 cents a mile for our vans and 95 cents a mile for our buses, and that includes gas. So there's a $25 minimum, but it's not that expensive. There's really no hidden fees, but there are fines. If you use the van outside of your rental time, there's a fine. If you don't complete the travel sheet completely, it's a fine. It's just like a rent, like if you were purchasing the reservation through a rental company. You have to have all the paperwork in order. We need the keys back by 12 o'clock the next day. We need the gas tank full of gas. But really the biggest fines are reserved for having a non-approved van driver driving the vehicle. So that kind of concludes my 2 pieces that I really wanted to convey to you. I'd like to just highlight the things I'd like you to take away. Number one more time, physical plant really wants to help you have great events, but we need 2 weeks notice. That's super important. And number 2, actually, really, I just care about number 1. We need 2 weeks notice. Our moving and setup team is 1 person. And right now this year, she is also in charge of trash and custodial things because she's assisting with the COVID thing. So she's wearing so many hats. It's just super important that we give her the ability to plan that time. I feel like if you have more questions at this point, I'm happy to talk to any of you. You can either call our main office or email me with any questions, because I'd be happy to speak with you. But I'm grateful for the opportunity to get in and tell you that we need 2 weeks. And really, that's it. I'm going to mute myself now.
Well, thank you so much, Susan. That was really great. I this time, we'll now transition over to Nancy Cardona from the Controller's Office to go through some finance stuff. Oh, Susan, unless you wanted to go through some questions now, or if you want people to contact you later, I don't know. So we'll go to Nancy Cardona from the Controller's Office. Thank you so much, Nancy, for joining us this evening.
Okay, great. It's nice to be here. It's nice to see some faces, but I'd prefer to see you all live and in person. I don't like Zoom. I like more personal environments, but we're going to make the best of this. I have a lot to cover, but just to let you know, I've created a document that I'm sending to Nikita after this, as well as to Jacqueline, that they can print off copies for you with all the information on it. I'm going to talk mostly about how you make your purchases here at Gordon, and how, if you are taking it out of your own pocket, or how you get reimbursed. If you don't want to take it out of your pocket, how you can get money. And if you want to use the systems that we have in place through Nikita, how that can happen. So I'm going to share my screen here. And hopefully this works, because I got 3 screens up. Can anybody see? Hold on, right, I want this one. Okay, there. Everybody get that? All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is reimbursements. This is when you go out, you take from your own money, and you purchase items that you need for your clubs. So these are usually travel, which includes mileage, food and meals, party supplies for special events, and registrations. What you're going to do is you're going to give Nikita your original hard copy itemized receipt with a GCA reimbursement form. And then you're going to include your name and your student ID number on it. You're not going to pay individuals. That is something that has to be, and if you have an individual that you need to pay for services, you need to contact us and work with Nikita and our office, and that would be Becky Wetzel in our office, in order to do that. Never, never, never pay them out of your pocket. I'm just going to say that, never. You want to make sure it's done through the college if we're hiring somebody. You want to turn your request in to within 60 days, but Nikita, is it less for you guys still?
I don't think so.
Okay. So we have a 60-day reimbursement policy here at the college. So you want to make sure all your receipts, your requests are with Nikita, as well as for us to process so that you can get reimbursed. The best advice I can give you is do it immediately afterwards. That way you do not lose your receipts. That way you have them. And always make a copy of what you give to Nikita. Keep a copy of your receipts. You should list on your request form. There's always going to be a what, which is a description of what the item and why you're being reimbursed, a description of it. Why, your business purpose. I'm having this event on this date and it's called this. How much, that's obvious. It's based on the receipt. And what club, so the account number that you're given for your club. Each club has a account number that trails to our financials. So you are responsible to know that club number. No Amazon purchase reimbursements are allowed. And that's because we have our own Amazon where we get special bulk discounts, and we've worked out and negotiated through our punch out that we have no sales tax, we have free shipping. So we want to make sure that those things are accounted for. Okay, why isn't it moving? Hold on, there it is. This is new, as everything is changing. We started allowing reimbursements by EFT last year, but to minimize traffic and due to the COVID, we are not paying by check reimbursements. This is not just for students, it is for faculty and staff as well. So if you are planning on using the reimbursement process, you want to go to this link here, which is on our Go site, where you can find our documents, and you want to pick up that EFT form, fill it out. Do not email it to us. You have personal information on there, and it is not secure. Email is not a secure way to send personal information. Please drop it off at the office, or drop it in our lockbox outside the office, and we will make sure that it's processed. But we want to protect your information, so do not email it. We do require a copy of a voided check or a direct deposit form, something you can get from your bank verifying your information, because we want to make sure the information you're giving is exact. The worst thing that we want to happen is that we process it based on your information, and you gave us the wrong ABA number and it tries to go to a different bank. That number is so critical, or it's not going to follow through. And make sure your account number is correct. So that's why we ask for the verification. Sometimes we can't decipher a 6 or a 5. So we do want to verify that, because you want it to get into your bank account and not into somebody else's bank account. So that's important. Processing time of reimbursements. If all your submission requirements are met at the GCSA level and their standards, which would be through Nikita, and from there, Nikita, and I believe she's looking at someone else, is coming on board. We don't know that name yet, but they'll be entering those requests into our system, our workplace system here, so that that process goes. So it leaves GCSA and now it comes over to us. So all of them go through an approval process. So it usually goes through GCSA to Jacqueline to approve, as well as it goes through me for final approval. Then it goes to Becky, who processes these reimbursements. So she has to review them, make sure the information that you've given is correct. Your backup agrees, and then she can process the EFT. Once the EFT is processed, you'll get an email notifying you that your money is in your bank account. So we process once a week EFTs. They're generally on Thursdays. But don't expect immediate payment just because you submitted it to GCSA, because it does take time to get through the process. And again, with the timing of the processing, if you sent it on a Friday, if everything goes smoothly, you should be able to get it by the following Thursday. But if there's a hang up somewhere, it could take a little bit longer to rule that out. If you want to know where the status is, Nikita should be able to help you with that. I can get my mouse over. Hold on. Where do I get a reimbursement form? It starts with GCSA. So I believe Nikita and Jacqueline both have forms that they have you fill out first on that side. The next option that we have is, on those rare circumstances, we do allow cash. They're not cash advances, but they're EFT advances. So we allow 200. We have a policy where we can give out a limit of $200 per student at any one time until accounted for by our office. Those requests would be made through Nikita and Workplace. It's not immediately paid upon request. But again, if you put it in on a Friday, by the next week, you should be able to get that money and that request. Money will be deposited into your bank account as long as your EFT form is up to date and on file with us. If not, then we may hold off sending it because we need that EFT form. And again, at the end, you have 30 days, not 60 days for these, to get your receipts or bring back the money or both. So sometimes you might, let's say you ask for $200, you might only need $130 of receipts. So you have $70 left. So you would bring the receipts that total 100, and then you would return the $70 in cash. And then in turn, we would deposit the 70 back to your account, your club account, and account for it, and everything would be taken forward. If we don't see you, the receipts within 30 days, then you are personally liable for those funds. And so whether we deduct it if you have payroll on campus, or we send you a notice that we haven't seen it, you are personally liable for the 200 that you take out on there. Let's see. The final way that we can process purchases for you is through check requests. That works through our system. So no money is coming out of your pocket. We have a system where you can put in what you want. There's, you can pay, we can pay the vendor directly, or and we choose between whether we pay them credit card or we pay them through a check. But we're doing the paying. So the type of requests that we usually have is outside contractors, where you have guest speakers, musicians, photographers that are not Gordon people. They're outside of Gordon. If you are trying to pay somebody in Gordon, you have to still speak with us, because if they're on payroll, it becomes a payroll type of thing. We have to decipher on that. So any outside speakers or anything like that, you want to work with Nikita as well as Rebecca Wetzel in our office. You can make hotel reservations if you're going on a trip, rental companies, or any kind of event rental company. Sometimes furniture and fixtures, but that's very rare, but I put it in there. And bus and charter companies. If you were going on an event and so many students were going and you had to rent that bus, then that would be there. In this case, you would fill out the information for Nikita. She would put this in Workplace for you, purchase the order. And then she would require you to give her the hard copies of invoices. And then she would send all of that to us to take care of. Nikita may approach you and ask you to get a W-9 form. This is required by government. So if it's a new vendor, we need their W-9, which basically tells us their information for tax purposes, whether we tax them you know, as taxable and flag them for the government as taxable, or we treat them as a corporation where they're not sent those year-end forms. So you may be asked for that. Again, your paperwork should always have the who, what, why on it. So I won't go over that again because it's the same who, what, whys, and how much. And this is where we pay based on the terms and conditions, so you don't have to worry about it. And it doesn't, again, come out of your pocket. So it works well. Come on. Get it. Here's my, there it is on the right screen. So with our purchasing, you can purchase orders that are purchase orders is always produced in our system. So if you want to buy something at a vendor, you can produce a purchase order. Most vendors accept that. Some vendors don't need them. It's a formality. We have them anyhow. And so if you need the purchase order, let Nikita know and she can forward you a copy of the purchase order. If you don't need the purchase order and the business is fine with just the order, then you should be all set. We also allow for online purchases. So we have Amazon and Office Depot punch outs, which allow Nikita to freely go directly into Amazon. So if you have a link, you've been in Amazon, you know what you want. If you put those details in that link there, she can order exactly what you want. Same with Office Depot. Other online purchases with the help of our purchasing department can be made as well. And they can, so if you have a reservation or something and you want it to be paid by credit card, you can work with purchasing. And Austin right now, we do not have a full-time or a person that's other than Austin right now. He's temporarily filling in, but Austin, who was on earlier, is the one you want to be able to reach out to if you have those online purchases, and through Nikita. So we have other purchasing policies to remember. One of them, it's very important to remember, is no gift card policy. The college IRS says it doesn't matter how much, it is taxable. And if we allowed gift cards on campus, we could not keep track of all the taxes and who we have to tax and how we have to tax them, who goes through payroll, who doesn't go through payroll. So the administration said we don't have the legwork to do all that. So we have a no gift card policy. We will not reimburse you for a gift card. There's other ways. If you want to give a gift to somebody, you can purchase something, ask them if there's something they need that's within the gift range, but no gift cards are allowed. We also have a no alcoholic beverages policy on campus. We are a dry campus, and so therefore we will not reimburse for alcohol. If you have no receipt, there's no reimbursement. Then that makes sense. Many times faculty, staff, students all come and say, oh, I lost my receipt. In most cases, they can be, you can get them. If you go back to the documents or trail it back from your credit card or your bank account, there's usually phone numbers. There's a way to go. If there's ever a problem with no receipt, no reimbursement, first bring it to Nikita. Then if Nikita warrants that it deserves some attention, she will send you over to talk to me. We do not reimburse for gas. Everything will be by the mileage rate, and Nikita is aware of that and she can help you with that. Furniture and fixtures are not reimbursed. We have insurance codes. And so it has to go through Workplace, our purchasing system, so that we know if it's going to meet the fire codes. So please do not purchase any lamps or anything, furniture, a chair, any stools. You may think it is fine, but if it has the wrong material, it has the wrong wiring, it has the wrong wattage, it can be defunct, and so you could be stuck with it because we will not reimburse for it. When you're going to a restaurant and you're having a club meeting, you decide to go out and you're having a meal, you always want to get an itemized receipt as well as the credit card. There's two parts. Most restaurants give two parts. One that tells you what everybody purchased. The other one tells you the final amount with your with the credit card information where you sign. We need both of those. But if you were to lose one of them, lose the credit card receipt and keep the itemized receipt. That is far more valuable to us. And also to note that meals tax is reimbursable on those. We do not, however, reimburse for sales tax. We are a tax exempt organization. We have a taxers exempt certificate that is found on our Go site. And so We can help you find that. If you don't know, you can contact our office. We can send you the link. Nikita is aware of it. She may even have extra copies pre-printed of that. We do not reimburse for sales tax. Other things we want you to consider is implementing purchasing cutoffs before break and year end. Want to make sure that you have everything in whatever you're going to accomplish ahead of time so that you can get reimbursed before break. What happens is a lot of students in the past have waited till the last minute and they want their money before they go home for break. But we can't guarantee that. So if you want to get reimbursed in a timely way, you want to make sure you plan ahead so that you can get reimbursed before you leave for break. And again, I want to emphasize hiring any international vendors. You have to talk to Nikita as well as our office. There are so many rules with anything that is international, and we have to account for that. Sometimes there is a 2-week lag before we even know if we can even pay them or they can come here based on their paperwork, or whether we have to tax them and get more information from them. So always remember that if you're going to hire anything like that, you want to give plenty, I'd say give at least a month's leg room on that. And so it's always good to plan ahead. Please get approved for an expense prior to purchase. You don't want to go out and buy something and somebody says you weren't authorized. We didn't okay that in the club. So you want to make sure that those are always approved. And right now, Nikita is your requester. So our best advice is always make sure you have budget funds available. Please do not wait to process reimbursements. Make copies of your receipts for your records, because we have had many incidences throughout the years where somebody lost their receipts. They gave it to the requester, but the requester had so many on to process, somehow they got lost. Not purposely, but it happens. And so to try to recreate that or to get the money to the person, it becomes more complicated. So if you have copies and that happens to you, we can easily and quickly rectify it. So it's always good to keep a copy of that. Use our purchasing system whenever possible, because then it doesn't come out of your own pocket. Follow up with Nikita when you want your status or know where your status of your reimbursement is. And again, don't assume that just because I gave Nikita the paperwork for the reimbursement that you're going to get paid immediately. It's a process that we're going through for everyone in here to do that. And then our Go site information is here. You want to contact Becky Wetzel. She's probably going to process most of your requests, whether it's an advance, whether it's a reimbursement. Purchases would be through our accounts payable, Karen Fritz, but you wouldn't see that. But the things that where it comes to reimbursements and advances, it's going to be Becky. I'm available to answer questions as well. And Nikita and Luke and Jacqueline are going to receive a copy of everything that I have here condensed into a 3-page document that is available if you need it on there. So I think that's it at the moment. Does anybody have questions? I guess it's up to Diane now, right?
Thank you, Nancy.
Okay.
I am Diane Ingersoll, and I work for the college creative team. And I have been here for 4 years, which is really crazy when I think about it. but I was scrolling through all of the names and I don't know very many of you. And that makes me sad because I love people. So if you ever want to come meet me, I am typically non-COVID season over in the physical plant building, and would love to show you around and get to know you and see how I can help you. So my role is a lot of, everybody, if you haven't met a ton of people on campus that aren't wearing more than one hat, I don't know who they are. We all wear lots of hats. So I manage all of the billing for our department, but we have a print shop, and within our team, we have writers, the web team, the graphic designers, and the writers do all the editing as well, that text and language that gets sent out in various ways across the United States or around the country. So if you ever received a handed admissions material item, something from admissions, if you've come to visit or if it came to your house in the mail, it was probably from my department. So you are probably more familiar with my team than you realize. So we take all of the facts about Gordon, and we take all of the language about Gordon and information that we have about the faculty and the staff, and we take the photography and we turn it into a beautiful piece, and we try to represent Gordon well, represent the students, the staff, the faculty, the behind the scenes players, and that's what I'm a part of. And it's really, really fun. So I know what Nancy was sharing was more monetary, very detailed, very orderly. And mine is more about, do you want to be creative? With your department, if there's something that you are like, man, I really wish I could fill in the blank, you can come to me and you can talk to me about your ideas. So things that I help people with are like swag. So if you don't know that term, it could be like t-shirts or, Kleenexes that parents got at orientation, having something branded with your department's logo, or something that you want to identify your team with. And I can order stuff, but also we could make stickers. We do print stickers in-house, but we are limited with our machinery. We do have some well-loved machines, but they can we're just limited to cutting squares and rectangles. So if you want the fancy stickers, we almost order through a company called Sticker Mule. And what I normally do is if I order more than one sticker design at a time, so like if 3 of your clubs or whatever have a desire to order stickers, I order them all at one time, and it actually saves us money. So it's easier than just you ordering them all by yourself. I can help you with the size, maybe what it will visually look like. We could even print a sample if you needed to see what it would look like. So what I want to do is I want to show you our website, which will hopefully explain it a little bit better. So I'm assuming that you can see this. This is our website. It's gordon.edu/collegecreative. And if you scroll around, I'm not going to spend a ton of time here right now. I don't need to bore you with it. But if you are curious about Gordon's brand and Gordon's just the behind the scenes of the in-house marketing department, essentially, it's all in here. So if you, for example, if you go to the brand resources, you can see the history behind the Gordon logo. And it also allows you to download some logos. So if you wanted to put the Gordon logo on something, in addition to your own, another logo of some sort, you can download them here. And there's just the words, but also the seal. So you can choose, but here it tells you the meaning behind it. So there's always a meaning, there's always a purpose. And it's cool sometimes to just take a step back and look. We also have not only logos, but we have Gordon colors. So if you're ever ordering something and you want it to match the Gordon colors, these are the like tech terms when ordering with different vendors. So whether you order something with me or not, these may help you as you are making decisions based on colors if you want it to blend. There's also Gordon text. So we pay subscriptions to so many people can have capabilities basically to use these fonts. They're not just readily available, but there's all kinds of brand ins and outs data that you can look into. I'm going to back up here. So just real quick, I'm just going to show you our team. So this is our team. You may have seen Rick in a lot of different places because he's the VP. And then we have our team as well. So our team is, you know, always ever moving, changing. So Heather just had a baby. So she's out right now. And I got a haircut, so my hair's short. And Mike runs our print shop. So if you want anything printed, he's the guy. He'll answer all your questions. And usually I'm the front line and people come to me first and I field a lot of questions. And if I need more help, I'll go to Mike. Linda will actually be retiring soon, and Cassie just had a baby at the beginning of the summer and will also be stepping down. So we have a little bit of changes happening on our team. If you need web help, this is Steve, and Steve is the contact. Neil is the boss for the design center portion of College Creative, and he's always off doing meetings. So if you want someone on the ground, usually it's me. And what I'm gonna do again is back up. So again, if you come to our website, College Creative, and you are like, I need help, but I don't know what, you click on this button that says work with us. And if you scroll down, you can see that there's all of these options. And some of them are like, you still may be overwhelmed because there are a lot of options. But if you just click on design, that's a great place to start if you have an idea, or consultation if you have an idea. And it will ping us and you can write all of your ideas in, and then we can say, oh yeah, well, we already have this, or you can do this, or let me help you here. And we can go from there. Currently, our print link has been having struggles. So I don't, maybe you've had problems with it yourself. So I apologize if that is the case. We're going to do kind of a workaround for a little while, but we have a new program and it's more nitty gritty than we were expecting. And just because of COVID, we just haven't had time to invest in fixing those little kinks. So everybody on our team works within these links. So if you give a suggestion of something or an ask, you're looking for something and it's in the wrong category, I can put it in the correct location with the correct person. So with any of them, you will get a response. And we are, just like Sue said, we are here to help. So one thing I guess that you should know is we are physically in the physical plant building. So same place as the physical plant team. And it's really great to be there. So we actually share a front desk staff, and I see actually Kelby on here and she's on our crew. So thank you, Kelby. But we are definitely there to help. So we have someone at the front desk, and usually me, and Mike's always in the print shop. So between the three of us, so to speak, we can help you find what you need. If you want something printed, first we need your file. You design it, you create it, send me your file, and then please try to give us at least 3 days. And the reason for that is maybe we don't have the right paper. Maybe we don't have someone in because of whatever illness. There are 3 different people that can run the print shop, So we have backups, but we just want to make sure that you get the time that you need to have your piece beautifully made. We will need your billing code. So I know Nancy talked about billing codes. And then if you are thinking, if I first said swag earlier and you're like, oh, I really want to do that. Well, I have quite a few drawers of ideas and like things that you can see, that you can touch, that you can flip through magazines. Also, there are different vendors that sell t-shirts, and we have like swatch books. So if you were ordering a specific color from, let's say, Gildan, I have those samples in my room, in my office. And so you can actually, if you're very visual, my office is the place to go because I have that. Also, if you want to touch different types of paper, which sounds silly, but not all paper is the same. So if you want to dream big and think about your big idea of being a certain type of paper, we can help you do that. If you want to do posters on campus, so typically you really only need like 20 to put them around campus. I think more than 20 is probably more than you need. Like I mentioned about stickers, we can definitely stickers for you as well, especially if it's a last minute situation, which is better than nothing. So again, just bring your ideas and I'm happy to help you solve the problem. Does anybody have any questions for me? I love radio silent. I'm always here. The best place to reach me is design@gordon.edu. And you don't need to email me personally because I will respond faster actually under design. I kind of forget to check my own email. So I think that's it. Let me know if you have any immediate questions after the meeting. Thank you for the time, Thomas.
Well, thank you so much. That was really helpful. Thank you. Nikita, I'll pass it off to you now for what you can share with us.
All right. Hey guys, I'm Nikita. I'm your VP of Finance and I'm super excited to be serving you this year. So if you care about money, listen up. I know it's been a really long meeting and I promise I'll be as quick and painless as possible, but we do have some pretty important things to touch base on. So as you all know, we're in the middle of a pandemic. So lots of things have changed with money and I'm sure we're all penny pinching every day just to get through it. I know I am. So saying that, there's a few things that we all need to know as club leaders and as being responsible for money. Number one, really want you guys to grasp the idea of ETFs. We're no longer doing checks, and that's kind of a big deal because we're all used to getting those pretty little checks in our mailbox after we buy something. Not going to do that anymore. So make sure if you are thinking about buying something for your club with your own money, go online, fill out that form that she showed the link of, and I'll get those to you too. Get your account set up with the finance department just so that we know that like if you need to get your money back, you can get it back. ETFs, really important. Next, there's a file on the wall in the GCSA office. If you can't reach me, if you can't reach me and you can't find me for whatever reason, which you should be able to find me, I'm pretty, I'm here. There's a file on the GCSA wall labeled GCSA in the GCSA office, which is in Gillies, that tells you like, this is where you put your receipts. This is where you put those forms that we can get your money back. We also are going to have a director of business management who is going to be responsible for the actual requesting of things. It won't actually be me. In a couple weeks, I'll be their approver, but we'll talk about that later. It is important to know though. Amazon is going to be a great resource if you need products for your events at all. Just email me the link and I can buy those things for you and you won't have to deal with the reimbursements of it. So super great resource. Just don't buy it yourself. Remember what Nancy said, don't buy it yourself. This is the big one, and you're all gonna hate me, but we need to redo fall budgets. Yay. So because of the pandemic, we are short in funds, and they're gonna be due by Thursday morning. Sorry, but because of COVID, we need to see where we can move money around. And as a small Christian community, it is our jobs to be stewards of faith and also funds in this case. Please, please, please look over your budgets. Send me a revised and vamped up budget, keeping in mind pandemic regulations. So what the school's actually allowing to happen. So if you are planning an event for like 50 people in like the basement of Bromley and you know that's not going to happen anymore, take that off your budget. Let us move that money around somewhere else. If you know you can't feed 50 mouths at one time anymore, take that off your budget. Let us know where we can help you when you're relooking at your budgets, because we're gonna assume that if you don't give us a new budget that you don't need any money. That's really important, guys. So think about realistically how much money you need. If you have some serious problems with the timeline of like when we need this, come talk to us, because we can definitely work with you. But because of everything that's happening, and because it's only fall budgets, it's not spring budgets yet, but look at your fall budget, think about it with your team, see how much money you actually need, where it's going, why, how, all of that. You already have a fall budget, just revise it, send it to me. We won't vote on it again. I just need to see what you're doing with it because money's kind of tight. Yeah. Okay. Spring budget season is coming soon. We're going to be starting in late October or early November. So keep this in mind as it is rapidly approaching. Spring budgets are coming. Hopefully, we're still going to be here. Any questions? That was really fast. Really sorry about that. Any questions? None? Cool. Nikita.
I have one.
Oh, sweet. Wait on me.
Do you want us to submit the budget directly to you, or is there a different email that you want us to send it to?
Put it right in my mailbox and I will love you forever.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, question. You're muted. Try one more time.
Yeah, I have a question. I'm like a little bit behind on the planning. Who do I talk to get that settled? Like what money to? Yeah.
So whoever was in, no worries. Whoever was in charge before you of your club already submitted me a fall budget. Not a full year budget. What club are you?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a new club, mixed martial arts club.
Mixed martial arts. Are you chartered?
I'm not sure yet.
So Nikita, I had some people who are in the process of chartering just join the meeting because all this information will be relevant to them if, cool, in fact, they do become chartered later.
Sweet. Great. Thanks for letting me know. So you, Thomas, you don't have a budget yet. So don't worry about that. Everyone else who is chartered and has gotten an improved budget and went through that whole shebang last almost summertime, just send it to me again, but different. Because if you send me the same budget, I'm going to know. And we need we just need to know how you're actually going to spend your money, because it's a pandemic. So I know you're not going to have a party with like 100 people at it anymore. Like, I need to know where you're actually spending your money. Sorry. Thank you. Love you all. Any other questions? Guys, I'm like shaking. Okay. Anything else? No. All right. Good night.
Thank you so much, Nikita, for that presentation on finances. I will now turn it over to Jacqueline to go over some exciting but not exciting COVID policies that we all need to keep in mind for this semester so we can stay safe. Off to you, Jacqueline.
Thanks, Thomas. I like to remind CEC that this year we're all entrepreneurs. And so we get to figure out how to be a community in this new season. So there is some regulations that we have to keep in mind to keep us safe, but I don't think that means we can't get together. So my challenge is find creative ways to use these boundaries because I'm doing it too. So I'm going to try and keep this really brief and make just a couple of pointers that you all should know and keep in mind. If you're having a meeting or event indoors, you can only have a capacity limit of 25 people. So that's it, 25 people. And if you're having an event outdoors or a meeting outdoors, there's only 50 people that can attend that event. there's of course like the common recommendations, keep your mask on if you can't be more than 6 feet apart, those kinds of things. And so how some of us are thinking about events is like multiple smaller events, those kinds of things. That won't necessarily affect clubs too much because most of your meetings, I assume, aren't 50 people or 25 people. But some of your clubs will be affected by that. So just think creatively about that. I also think for meetings, it would be really wise to include an online portion for those students who don't necessarily feel safe going to an in-person meeting, for our students who are sick, and for our students who are currently not at Gordon because they chose to stay home. And so by providing an online option, you're actually serving the wider campus community. I imagine some of you won't be able to do that, like the martial arts club, that might be a little challenging, right? But many of you, if you do have a meeting, can do that over Zoom. And I think a lot of people would be really happy about that. Or Teams is what we're suggesting that you all use, because Teams is free with your Outlook account, whereas the pro licensing for Zoom costs the college like quite a bit of money. So Outlook Teams is what we're suggesting. All events, as you kind of heard, need to be in 25 live, and they need to include a description. My hope is to just have some checks and balances here. And so if there's no description in your event request, I'm going to automatically deny it. So just give me a brief description so I know you're not planning like a massive dance for 100 people, but that you have thought about how you're going to do this new world that we're living in. We're also really asking that you connect more with your advisors this season. I've actually asked advisors to make sure that they've reached out to you, but we, on the other hand, are going to ask you to reach out to your advisors and sign a piece of paper or like an online paper that you've done that at some point. Advisors are great because they help connect you to the college. They can help you think through events, philosophically think through events, and it's mentorship by a faculty or staff person on campus. I know that in the past, a lot of our clubs sometimes don't even know who their advisors are. And I really think that's a pity and a lack of like ability to have you guys get mentored by really stellar people. And so I'm trying new ways to connect you all. And so one of those ways is I would request/require you to talk to your advisor about how your protocols for your events. So I think that's a little different than necessarily meetings. I think it'd be good for you to check in with your advisors about how you're running meetings. But if you're planning an event, please talk to your advisor about that. I'm also happy to talk to you all. I just know there's like 50 of you. The other big thing is that if you're running an event, not a meeting, but an event, you have to have your advisor present. I'm going to let advisors know that tomorrow. And if they can't be present, they need to designate another staff or faculty person to be there. The other thing is just to think through food. Food's really important to meeting, and I don't want to say that you can't have food. I just want you to think through it well. So having catering from Bon Appetit, they know what to do. That's absolutely fine. I also know that's really expensive. So if you want to think through serving like pre-made, pre-packaged, individually wrapped food items, so that's not like go home and bake cookies. That's more like go and buy individually wrapped bags of chips. I think that's a really great way to think through food, or not having like a common juice that you pour around or a common Coke, but everybody gets their own Coke and you don't have to like touch that. So also make sure that if you have or need plates or silverware, that they're disposable. I too am conscious about the environment, and this is really sad to me, but I also think there are exceptions for our health. So those are really the big regulations that I just want you to keep in mind. And I do charge you to help us create community and to think through how to continue doing what you guys do really well. I'll also say I know this is a lot of information, and I'm happy, and so is Thomas, to kind of help review a lot of this information. But we do this because secretly, not so secretly, you all run the school, and we're here to serve you. But sometimes it gets challenging to serve you if you don't know how we try and serve you. And that's where like having Sue Gross come in and say, we only have one move-in and set up person. I think that's like really important for you to know so that you can give her enough time to serve you. So there's your charge. Keep going. We're almost done with the night. Back to you, Thomas, unless you all have any questions. Great.
Thank you, Jacqueline, for that update on COVID policies. In the little bit of time that we have left here, I will try to be as brief as I can. Can you guys all see this? Jacqueline is absolutely right. It is all of you who are leading clubs, councils, publications, and agencies who really make student life here on this campus happen. And it's really our role as members of student government to just support you in that process. I think it's important just to kind of go over what GCSA is as a whole organization. The Gordon College Student Association consists of all chartered student organizations, so all of you, and the student government. And the student government is an elected body by the students. And our job as the student government is to represent our fellow students to the administration. So that's everything from voicing concerns by the student body, working on events, working on initiatives, representing the students to the administration. But then the second, of course, of our really important tasks is to support and oversee all of the student organizations that you all run. Student organizations are student-run groups that exist to enhance the student life on campus. So a little bit about the relationship that we have, kind of provided like a little bit of a circular flow diagram here. The student government, we receive about, on average, usually around $200,000 a year, which is actually funded by the students. So all of you, somewhere in your tuition, you pay like a small fee. So this is the students' money. This is all of your money. And it's our job as the student government, as representing the students, to help funnel that funding to your organizations and provide you the funding you need, the resources, the promotion, the support for you to run the campus, as Jacqueline said. And then the student organizations is all of the clubs, publications, and agencies and councils. And in return, of course, in this circular flow model, it's kind of your job just to make sure that student government is informed about what it is that you're doing, and so that we know the status of what's happening in your organization, and so that we can continue to support you. More specifically, I think it's important for all of you to know kind of who the point people are to contact regarding different matters. So if you are a normal club, I'm going to be your person to contact regarding anything non-financial. And we'll talk more about what that is, what the things you'll need to be in contact with me about throughout this semester. For financial matters, whether you're a club or an executive council, publication, or agency, the VP of Finance, Nikita Jaggi, who we just heard from, she's going to be your person to contact. If you contact me, I'm just going to point you to her. So Cam Grinnell, who is the executive vice president, if you're a director of a council, publication, or agency, chances are you've probably already spoken with him, so you know who you are. He's going to be your point person to contact. And as I go through this brief presentation, really any time where I say you need to contact me, if you're a council, publication, or agency, it's really Cam that you're going to contact instead of me. So as organizations, you all will be, you are all equipped with a lot of resources that you have to, as a GCSA organization, to do all of your work. You guys have access, of course, to GCSA facilities and spaces, as physical plan and scheduling went over early in the presentation. And you have access to us as GCSA to student government to help you in promoting your organization. We'll be going over that shortly. The expectations for you all as leaders is to work to enhance student life on campus, which all of you do really well. To manage your organization in a manner that follows college policies and glorifies God. That's probably the most important. And as Jacqueline mentioned, your advisor kind of serves as a resource to you to help navigate college policies and give you guidance where needed. Of course, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me or Cam. Really important, I gotta stress this a lot, communication with student government. Throughout the year, there'll be different points where we'll be asking of you to submit different forms and other information. It's really important that you make sure that you do that in a timely manner because ultimately it serves you best, because if we're well informed about what you're doing, we can support you. So it's really important. Really, any significant changes in your organization should also always be communicated with me or Cam. So if you have a change of leadership, this is really important. Any change in leadership, so that's an addition of a new leader. If you as a leader are stepping off and you're trying to figure out what to do with your club, all those things should all be communicated. And there will actually be a leadership transition form that I'll be sending out to you to communicate any of those changes. Any significant change in your attendance should also be communicated. So if your organization is struggling, let's say you're at 30 or so people coming to your events, and then over time you kind of start to drop off, we definitely want to know so that we can help support you and provide you the resources to get your club back up and running. You're also, of course, as a leader, expected to be accountable to the club development committee and financial affairs, really to me, Nikita, and Cam for different evaluation processes, which we'll talk about. Evaluation. So this is something that happens throughout the semester. And this is just a way so that we all know what's happening in your organizations so that we can support you. There's really three main criteria that we'll use to evaluate what's going on in your organization. I sent out to all the clubs a goals and mission statement document. That's due in a few weeks from now. I've already gotten it from some of you. Just work on that and make sure that your leadership team and your advisor are aware of what your goals are. Also, throughout the semester, you'll be receiving at least just one visit from either me or a member of my committee who will just check in and say hi. We'll visit your club and just kind of see what's going on and say hi. And then lastly, at the end of the semester, there'll be some form of evaluation report for you to fill out to evaluate how your organization performed over the course of the semester. And that will be sent to me. So I'll be in touch with you throughout the semester with those documents. It's really important that all of those get filled out on time so that we can function well. Evaluation statuses. These are 4 different evaluation statuses that your organization can be in at different periods of time. Most of you are all in active status. Active status is by default the organization that your organization will be in. That means that your organization is following college policies. They're submitting reports to student government on time. You're having active enrollment. All of you, unless I've communicated to you otherwise, are in active status. These lower statuses, these are really gradual statuses. So you're not going to go straight from active to inactive. Really, this isn't going to come as a surprise to you. You'll be changed to a different status if you're failing to submit reports, if your club is violating college policies or is doing anything wrong, then these are different statuses that we'll place you in. These statuses aren't meant to penalize your organization. I think that's important to note. It's meant to support your organization. So it serves as a point of information to you and to your club and to us folks in GCSA that your organization needs support. Ultimately, these statuses, we put your organization in these different statuses with the intent of redeeming your club back to active status. So they're meant with remedial intent. promotion. So we want to help promote your organization so that students can learn about them and join them. Gordon 360, I sent out some information to all of you in the beginning of the year about how Gordon 360 works. At this point, you should all be admins of your Gordon 360 involvement page. And it's important that that be updated. If you haven't updated it yet, please do update it, because when people want to learn about clubs, they will go to your page. And if it looks terrible, then they won't join your club. So definitely want to update that. If you have any questions on how Gordon 360 works, please feel free to email me. Email strategy. So for emailing clubs this year, for now, for the time being, we're going to keep the same process where executive councils and agencies and publications can email the student body directly. If you're a club, you can send that email to GCSA, and then we'll send it out to the student body. But we're actually working on a new strategy this year that we'll be announcing to you shortly. We want to kind of, hopefully moving forward, not have students be receiving 50 emails from different clubs throughout the semester. What we're moving towards is some kind of system where we have like a weekly newsletter that gets sent out that has all the events from all the different clubs. So I'll be in touch with you at some later point as to when we will switch to that. But for now, we'll keep the same system that we've had. Instagram and social media. Most of you have submitted promo videos for your organization. If you haven't submitted those to me, feel free to submit those to me. We'll be using that to promote your organization on GCSA's Instagram page and via other means. Chapel announcements. If you wish to have some kind of announcement at chapel, please feel free to be in touch with either me or Cam about that. And chapel announcements will usually need to be at least a week in advance before, so that they can be announced. And then, of course, throughout the year, we'll be working with all of you to do more creative ways on how to promote your organization. So stay tuned for more updates on that. Other important rules to touch on. This semester, there's not going to be any travel that's going to be allowed off campus. You learned about how travel works early in the presentation. That's general information to know, but just note that that doesn't apply to this semester because of COVID. So watching films. Jacqueline, if you don't mind, can I put you on the spot to just kind of talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, films are totally allowed to be watched on campus. There's a couple of just really important rules to keep in mind, is that you have to have licensing to show them publicly. So even residents' life, they can't advertise a film unless they pay a licensing fee. And I work with a licensing company if that's something you're ever interested in. They kind of range in price. Mostly films that are older than this last year of 2020 are like $450 per license, and a license is a day of watching, like 1 day of watching the movie, so you could have as many showings as you want at that film. And then it's $100 additional every day, and then movies that came out this year are like $950. So I'm sure that will interest a lot of you less. So there's a couple of ways that I advise, like, getting around that, but not really getting around that, is documentaries are often free. They have free licensing, and so often you still need to like contact the person who did the documentary or who produced the documentary, but often they are free for educational purposes. So that's really great, but it's something you'll still want to check on because of the legality. And I don't work with any like documentary producers, but for licensing, but you can look that up yourself, or I'm happy to help facilitate that. And then, yeah, that's like primarily the way that I would do that. But I do have access to a whole list of all the movies that came out if that's something you have or budget for your club. That is challenging this semester because we can only have very limited people watching inside. However, CTS for purposes like CEC is hoping to do a bunch of movie nights has a blow up screen that they can do. And then you can have like 50 people come outside and watch that movie. You'd still need to have some sort of like RSVP system, or if you just want your club to watch it, you can reserve an indoor spot and watch that for 25 people. And then something else that maybe you all don't know about, but actually is pretty cool, is Netflix Watch Party. It's an app for Chrome, and you can watch the same movie with however many people that you want. And there's no video capacity between like you and your friends, but you can all chat on the side. So it's kind of fun, and like maybe you have Zoom up too. So there's a couple of ways to do that, but yeah, I'm happy to talk about films at another point too, if you have questions about that.
Well, thank you, Jacqueline, for that. I am conscientious of time, and I'm realizing we're coming up short here. Oh, as it turns out, that's the end of the presentation. So that's perfect. Are there any questions that any of you have about any of the things that I just presented on as far as relations between student organizations and student government? Well, all right then. Thank you so much. I really appreciate, giving up an hour and 38 minutes of your Monday night to come to this event. I know you were all busy. So thank you so much for coming to this. And I hope that you all have a wonderful evening. So thank you so much for coming to this event. Talk to you later, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.